I can't make money from their stories, they can't make money from their own stories. Wah, wah, wah. If I can't get my own way, nobody else has the right to live their lives. Wah, wah, wah. Hi, everyone. I'm Elisa's Another Truth here on YouTube. I hope you're doing well and you're taking great care of yourselves. As you can see, I will be doing a Without a Crystal Ball, aka Katie Joy, aka WOACB reaction video regarding this nonsense post of hers. As you can tell right now, I'm not happy with it. I'm going to react to it. I want to thank the WOACB official subreddit for bringing this to our attention. I didn't read through it, so some of this stuff I'm going to read for the first time. I'm sure I'm not going to like it. I guess Katie Joy is running out of content. This is what she resorts to when she can't control what others do. And whatever. Anyway, let's get into it. Oh, before I get into it, a content warning. Everything I state here is based on my opinions, my perspectives, and understanding what's going on. Don't take anything that I say as fact or the truth. You can always research this, look at this on your own, make your own decisions, your conclusions, and be responsible with those decisions and conclusions. And just a content warning, I'm going to talk about very sensitive things, about Katie Joy's nonsense, abuse, grifting, exploiting the Duggars, and so on. If this is not what you want to listen to, if you don't like swear words or elevated voices which might occur in this video, I suggest that you leave this video now, come back at another time when I'm not so opinionated, not so strict and loud. So here I go. All right. Well, this looks like, I don't know what this reaction is from exactly. I'm not sure. I'm assuming it's this year's holiday. I really honestly don't know. But Katie Joy nevertheless always has an opinion when she can't control what people do. So, Withoutacrystalball says, this picture is one of the many reasons that I can't support Derek or Jill anymore. Makes no sense. Katie Joy, you've never supported them. You have always put them down, exploited their circumstances for your own payday. You've put Jill's aesthetic down, the way she looks, the way she comes across, their trips to El Salvador, when they were doing that missionary work. You've used their horrifying experiences with due to CSA as your own, for your own profit. You've done everything that you could to hurt these Duggar young women. You've attempted to interfere in their business, they're making money, their relationships, all of that. You have no proof whatsoever with half the shit or most of the shit you say. You just do a copy, paste, and rearrange a few things, and then you consider that content. You are, in my opinion, a fraud. And you can take that as you will. You either stand firm in your convictions or you don't. Or you don't. Well, I remember you making several political opinions. And when they weren't favorable for your bottom line, you dropped them. You also don't have any respect for women. You hate them. You've said terrible things about them. You've done everything you could to blame these young women for their father's enablement of their monster brother. You've done everything you could to interfere in their business, of them attempting to make money on their own, their book sales, all of that. You've done everything that you could to call them out, and it hasn't worked. It just makes you look like a stupid asshole, is what it does. You have no convictions other than the conviction that you believe that you are entitled to everybody else's life story for your own profit. You don't stand for anything other than your own selfish interests. You stand for nothing that is good, that is wholesome, that is respectable about this world, and you do nothing of a sort to advocate for anybody. Now, no one's obligated to do those things. Nobody's obligated, because I know that you are very busy with your child, your job, and a lot of people are, and a lot of people don't have that opportunity because they don't have the time to participate in doing these things, because their work hours and sometimes meetings don't always, like town halls and things, don't always meet the expectations of people who need to be at them. Okay? But you have that opportunity to make a difference somehow. You've done absolutely nothing but alienate victims. You've done nothing other than attempt to get in the way of people's healing, people's self-expression, and people trying to have a say as to what happens to their own lives. So don't go on here and sit on your ass and demand that people stand by their convictions or not. You don't get to dictate that to anybody. You don't know what's going on in this picture or in this family whatsoever. Now, I don't care for Jim Bob Duggar. I loathe the man. I think he is disgusting. That's my opinion. Okay? I don't like him. And I would say his relationship with his kids are dubious. I had a narcissistic, self-centered father. I understand. I know what that looks like. And it's hard because when you want to be loved and appreciated, sometimes that's where you go thinking you'll get it, and you're disappointed every time. I don't know what Jill's relationship and Derek's relationship is with Jim Bob. Even if they did go there to talk about something important, or it's a family get-together, whatever, because I don't know the context behind this picture, okay? Katie Joy, you don't know either. You don't know either. You either enable abuse or you don't. So you're basically telling Jill that she's enabling her own abuse by supporting her father, or helping her father, or connecting with her father, or having a serious conversation with her father, instead of blaming the people who are actually responsible for that. Every single book written by the Duggar daughters is a money grab. You don't know that. And they have a right to talk about their experience. Okay? A lot of stuff that's written is nonsense anyway, but there are some important things. There are some, I've read some great literature and I've read some terrible literature. Maybe they did write the books for entertainment value. People want to hear what they have to say. But I don't see how that makes their experiences any less important than anybody else's. Okay? They may not bring the kind of awareness that you expect, but it's still their experiences, and they can profit off of it. if they want to. You always complain about everybody profiting off their own spoken and lived experiences, yet you're here doing that by exploiting them. By taking those stories, taking those things, converting it into your own, which isn't your own, stamping it with your nonsense emblem, and then saying that this is yours, or that some insider or some source gave it to you. You're such a consummate liar. You're just a nasty prevaricator, Katie Joy. One of the worst on this platform. They all ignore abuse and deflect onto issues that are irrelevant. That makes no sense. What are you saying here? They all ignore the abuse. Why is this scene so triggering for you? I don't understand that. Who's ignoring the abuse? You don't know if they don't wake up from nightmares, they don't struggle with their own stuff, that the trauma doesn't come out in other ways. Are you insane? I mean, I'm sorry for that ableist language. But Katie Joy, this is absolutely abusive coming from you. This is absolutely victim blaming and dismissing them. And you've always dismissed them. You've never stood up for women. You've put women down. You've shut them down. You've said horrible things to them. You've done everything that you could to vilify them and made them responsible for men's problems. You've done nothing to defend people's rights. You've criticized people's reproductive rights. You always talk about how you defend these things. You don't. You don't give a shit. You don't give a shit. You are performative at best, but you are a nasty prevaricator, and I can't emphasize that enough. As for the rest of that sentence, I have no idea what you're talking about. I swear you get pissed off every time. You know, the object of your obsessions, whatever it is that's going, every time you see this, for some reason, it must be something conspiratorial. It must be something that they're lying about or cooking up. Come on. Come off of it. You either stand with victims of CSA or you don't. How do you know they don't stand up for themselves and for the people that their brother victimized? You don't know. Yeah, Jim Bob is a nasty enabler. There's no doubt about that. I believe he did put his son's welfare over his daughter's welfare. I do believe that. I think that even separating them, you know, Josh should have been put away for help. You know, he did not do any justice by those girls. He protected his own ass. But his son is the monster. His son is the one that accessed CSA, the type of CSA that you yourself either accessed or attempted to access, Katie Joy, and described in depth what that meant. Because you are a sick fuck, in my opinion. None of the Duggars stand with the victims. You don't know that. You don't know that, Katie Joy. You know, and maybe they don't see those victims as equal people. Consider their background and their upbringing and what they've been taught, that they are superior. Okay, I don't think the Duggar women themselves feel superior to anybody else. Quite the contrary. But you got to look at that frame of reference. It's inexcusable. But we know Jim Bob Duggar is a nasty racist, in my opinion. And worst of all, these types of men, they don't care if there were victims. He only cared about defending his son, and maybe he was acting as a father. But he also crapped on all over his daughters' experiences. And I'm sure that trauma has come out in different ways, but I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and go into depth about that. I mean, it's clear that something happened in that household, and was hard for them, and that their father put them in very dangerous situations. He was an irresponsible parent, but that's not their fault. You keep blaming women when men do bad things. Unless they're the ones who enable it, then you can go after Michelle Duggar. Sadly, the adult daughters are so brainwashed that the abuse was their fault. That's all you had to say, and that would have been the truth of how you think. Because you do believe that the adult daughters are responsible for it. You believe that somehow their complicated relationship, whatever it is that's going on, they're somehow upholding their father without giving them a level of grace, that they are also emotionally damaged by what their father had done to them. I do not think that their books were books of fiction. It may not be well guided. There might be some things in there that might be questionable, but their experiences are real. And who is to say that those experiences are fake? Now, I don't think you're saying they're fake. You're saying it's a money grab. And for you to say that is pretty rich, considering that you have done nothing but have exploited people's death by suicide. You've done nothing but exploit people's own hell with CSA, things happening to them. You have done nothing but harass people, put them down, dox them, go after them, and attempt to access questionable material yourself, in my opinion, and then blame everybody else for that. I believe you think the Duggar daughters are responsible for what happened to them. And I wouldn't put it past you that you think that the victims of Peter Sully and Josh Duggar had something to do with it too. I'm sure you blame them as well because you are a pig. Actually, I'm not going to say that because pigs are nice. You are a disgusting, vile, contemptible human being for that thinking. That they will never see their father created the environment that caused the abuse to happen. Another blame game here. Why is it their job to be more discerning? It's their job for their father to be more responsible. And he should have been more responsible with them from day one, knowing that their son had problems. But he was trying to hide that for his own narcissistic self-interest. Kind of like what you do on YouTube when you ignore your own child, when you've allegedly put your child in medical danger, an emotional danger, by neglecting his needs, yelling at him in lives, shooing him away, putting him in front of electronics to babysit him instead of participating in his life. You project a lot. You have a lot of your own shit to work through before you can point any fingers, ma'am. Their father conditioned them all to feel ashamed of the abuse. Well, if you believe that, why the fuck are you blaming them? Why are you blaming them? Why are you accusing them of enabling their father and abusers? I don't understand that. So you're so full of it. You are such a rank liar. In 2025, you either stand for something or you fall for everything. You fall for everything. Well, your bottom line means more than the truth. If you had any fucking balls, if you had any backbone, and you really believed the stuff you talked about with Project 2025, women's reproductive rights, your political stuff, you would have stood by it, not have taken it down. You did that because your earnings would have tanked. You don't stand for anything else but your self-serving interests. There is nothing redeemable about what you say in this post about anybody. You don't stand for these people. You can always turn things around and start making better choices for yourself, but that's not what you choose to do. And unfortunately, a lot of other people are going to suffer because of it. Thank you for listening.